Hey, folks, just a friendly reminder that all shows on the Madness Comic Network are produced by their individual hosts and in no way reflect the opinions of the network as a whole. Yeah, count on that.
Flip City Magazine is just really pulling out all the stops, man. Your guys' production value of this magazine has gone insane. I mean, look at that. I mean, I remember when you guys, it was black and white. Even when it was black and white, I thought your quality was great. But damn, they have just, I mean, they just really stepping it up a notch. Look at this. James Corbett, boys. James Corbett.
Genuinely cutting, but also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
The future. The final frontier. It has never been so uncertain as now. AI, VR, haptic wear, nanotechnology, mass destruction with a remote click. Now we are finally seeing the true potential and dangers of an ever-connected and overly policed hyper-technological world. Have we finally become the architect of our own demise? Is there still hope? Welcome to the future. Welcome to Punk Droid.
Hey, Dirk Manning here, the writer and creator of numerous comic books and graphic novels, including Nightmare World, Tales of Mystery, Made But Not Dead, all kinds of stuff. And I am super excited for you because you are getting to watch right now, right this moment, out of all the things we're really going to be doing, you're getting to enjoy and revel in the Madness Comic Network. And that is awesome. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. What's up, everybody? I'm not usually out here on a Friday. You know that, so you know this ain't about me. I like to make sure that we get as many different people out here as we possibly can. And sometimes that doesn't jive with the timing of our normal scheduled shows, like Doc shows in the daytime and Laurie shows in the daytime. And some people work. Okay, so I get it. We got to have shows that are flexible and that work for people's schedules. And this is one of them. I will do a special edition for anybody if Monday don't work. Y'all know that. So if you're looking to be out here and be seen, just hit me up. I'll put together a show that fits your schedule. That's part of what we do. And I ain't wasting no time. We're getting right to our guest, because he's the reason we set up a special show. You guys know him from the newer than me, hit channel over there on YouTube. Where we're at, yeah, I know. Look, John's Longbox has been a blast of a show to watch. I've been on it. John is awesome. He does shows on the weekends that are just comics. It's about comics, people having a good time. So I ain't wasting no time. I'm going to bring John out, and I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then we're going to do a little deep dive into his past and what he's doing now. So everybody say hello to Mr. John Bua. What's up, brother?
How you doing? How you doing, Pops? Thanks for having me.
Oh, dude, it's it's like I said, man, just because our shows don't always jive with people's schedules doesn't mean we can't make something happen anyway.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Well, that's a great thing about running a network. You get to pick whatever you want to do, show, right? It's just what we do. You've been doing an amazing job of promoting people. Okay, your channel took off right away. You've had some pretty big names, some pretty big shows. I know what that feels like, because when I started out, our first big show, Brian Polito came out and did the final panel for CromCon #1 way back in 2020. And, you get to meet people like Mike Barron and stuff. And, it's like, yeah, right away you get that, you get that. Yeah, I got some cool people on my show. We had Keith Williams and a bunch of people at CromCon 1. It was pretty awesome, and, what you're doing, you've been a little over a year with your channel?
3 years.
Oh, I didn't even know you've been around that long, man.
Yeah, well, nobody did. That's the point. No, I've been doing it for 3 years. And for most of that time, I had 86 subscribers, 3 views per video. But I like talking about comics. But I got to say, from the beginning, I got some pretty active viewers. Right. There was guys like War Duke pretty much caught me from the beginning. We messaged each other. Jeff Hatcher was another guy who came from the beginning. They were just commenting back and forth all the time. So it wasn't a lot of people watching. It wasn't a lot of views, but it was active and it was a lot of fun. Right. Without guys like that, I wouldn't be doing it. I did get discouraged for a little while. And if you watch my early videos, I was using a shaky phone. The pictures were bad. I was whispering because I was embarrassed. My best friends were like I can't watch your channel. So you just stick to it. Yeah. Not that I'm any good now. I still don't know how to edit or do graphics or anything like that.
Well, I do kind of. I kind of do. That 3D paint in your basic windows. That's what I make graphics with, bro. Okay. I'm not one of them like you said. Okay, we're all boomers. We just come out for the love of comics, right? When I started our Facebook group, it was, look what I got this week. Okay, we showed off our hauls from the comic store and stuff, and it wasn't a YouTube channel. It was just Facebook, a little group. But, it blows up on you. Eventually, you ain't looking, and all of a sudden you're getting close to or surpassing that 1,000 mark, which everybody knows. That's when the algorithm starts helping you a little bit.
I'm still waiting for the help.
Yeah, a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. Been dabbling with the shorts and stuff. Have you messed with any of that?
I made a couple of shorts, and they got like thousands of views. So, but how long is a short? Like what is the longest a short could be?
A minute.
A minute? Okay. Because when I first started, I was just filming. Oh, look, my comic box right here. Oh, look, I'm building my comic book room. It was kind of like even before I had a channel, and those are still my most popular videos. My first 3 videos, thousands of views.
Yeah, I don't know why. I guess it's just because the attention span of people nowadays just exists, right?
it's why I try to keep my videos an hour. Like, I think the hour is a sweet spot, because I know me personally, if I see a 4-hour video, I don't click on it. I literally don't have the time. I like you said in the intro, I'm a full-time job. I'm sure people know I'm a construction worker. Yeah. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, so I don't stay up late. I go to bed around 9:30, and then I get home at 5:30. So how much time is that really to, read comics, be with my wife, do normal things? So yeah.
And this is kind of how I began this journey, because I had a whole bunch of friends that worked all day.
Yeah.
They'd come home, they'd do their art or write or whatever, and they'd try to find 15 minutes at the end of the day to do a little social media and self-promotion. It was like, guys, I got all the time in the world. Let me promote you. Let me help you. Let me help get you seen. Come out on our shows, be part of the network. You know what I mean? And of course, it wasn't the network then. It was just the group. But it was like, come out into the group and interact with people. Let them know what you got going on. And you might sell some books, Well, that stupid little 300 person, hey, look what I got group is 2,700 people now. And it's all kind of people. Nice. It's like, I don't just let anybody into the group. You got to I'll look at your profile. If you ain't got no comics or art, you in. You know what I mean? I want it to
wish Marvel and DC did that to the people they hire.
You know what I'm saying? I want it to be real people that care about what we're doing. I don't want the SEO guys coming in and bothering everybody about how they can make their show better and all that kind of stuff. We don't let them people in. We just want legit comic publishers, creators, artists, and fans, writers, people that actually do stuff in comics and love comics. Because what good is it if your group gets out of hand? I've seen a few of them. They've just gotten out of hand. Yeah, they got a whole bunch of people, but now all they do is argue about everything all the time.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't want to do is argue with people. And I'm starting to think that some people aren't liking me because I won't fight. It's like you can't goddamn win,
Damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Because in the beginning, I used to fight about everything. Right.
I would prefer not to be liked as the guy who doesn't fight.
Right. In the beginning, I stood up for people. If I found out somebody was ripping people off, I went out there and ripped them a new one. And, I got all. And then it was like, man, this ain't helping my friends sell books.
Yeah. It's about comics.
Yeah. When I came to the realization that it wasn't helping anybody sell books, I just quit doing it. I just, I leave people behind. I don't go out there and look for trouble. If it comes my way, I'll defend myself, say my piece, and that's it. I'm done.
That's Skull over there by the Fund My Comic. Is that a Misfits mask or?
No, this is Joe.
Oh,
this is Joe. Joe accompanied Alice Cooper when he showed up here for a Halloween show.
Oh, okay. From the way back, it looked like the Misfits logo. From the band Misfits.
It's actually a little cane that when I cosplayed Alice Cooper for a Halloween show once.
You ever play Lemmy?
I have not done Lemmy. I've done a lot of people, but I've not. Lemmy is just like kind of. I'm already there.
Yeah, you just wear a vest and you Lemmy.
I don't have to do.
You got to glue pieces of meatloaf to your face and you Lemmy.
There you go. But I have fun doing this. That cane right there is actually on the cover of an independent comic book. Somebody saw that and they drew it on the cover of their book.
Which comic?
Quint by Whitefire Comics.
cool.
I had one. He sent me one. I was just like, get out of here. You drew my skull cane on the front of your comic. You could have, I mean, no, it was awesome. I love this community. I've had a blast. Oh, look, here's my boy Jim. Do you know Jim?
Jim O'Reilly. Are you the same Jim O'Reilly that's doing the art for Crom the Destroyer?
That
RJ?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
That
good,
is.
good. Jim, send a message to me. Come on my channel. I'm good buddies with Nick. Nick Axe is instrumental in helping my comic come out.
See,
He's doing chapter 2 of Crom. So, yeah.
This is awesome. That's what this is all about. Yeah.
Oh, cool, Jim.
I've known Jim since the very first campaign that I promoted 5 years ago.
Yeah, so Jim, send me a direct message.
He was on the first campaign. He was an artist on the very first campaign I ever really put time into promoting. You know what I mean? Jim's amazing. Great dude. We have some of his art for sale in the Madness art sale, actually. Some prints. Oh, we did sell a couple of them prints, Jim. Daniel got a couple of them.
Cool, Jim. Looking forward to talking.
So
I'm just slow. Yeah. This is Friday after a rough, rainy, cold week at work. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, look, we had tornadoes.
Wife who delivers me Wendy's chicken nuggets right to my hand.
I had tornadoes down the street the other day.
Oh, what? That's right. You're in Michigan, right?
Yeah, Southwest Michigan, man. There's a town right down the road got tore up, and I think they said there was like 11 different tornadoes that touched down along the front.
I didn't know tornadoes went as high as Michigan. What do I know?
Yeah, I never seen anything like that. My son said the same thing. He's lived here most of his life, and he's like, man, I ain't never seen like a front come through with that many that dropped. You know,
we just had an earthquake in New York a couple of weeks ago.
Jim, he is John's Longbox.
Oh, on Twitter, I'll put whenever I say it, people look at me crazy, but this is my Twitter handle.
Oh, that's right. It is different. It is different.
Yeah.
I just typed in John's Longbox and it shows you to me anyway. So
yeah, my Twitter, my Longbox Twitter is got this vaporized from being stupid and arguing. I lowered myself to somebody's standard and then they reported me. That's how they get you. They get you mad. Then you respond angrily. Then they report you, and then you lose it. So this one I made up in 2000, and it was like auto-generated, and I thought it sounded cool. You know, I was like, wow, Victoria, that sounds cool.
That's probably the coolest auto-generated one I've seen.
Well, I typed in Centurion because I typed in Centurion and then 2000 and blah, 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 and then it changed it to that. So. Or maybe I just went down the alphabet. I don't know. But I was like, oh, that sounds cool. That looks cool.
So yeah, we have a now. Did you have the comic in mind? When did the comic?
Okay. My comic book. Okay.
Yeah. When did that first come to mind? Because we talked about the show and the channel, and you guys got to go sub to John's channel. All right.
Yep. I just got a notification that Jim just subbed to me. Thanks. On Twitter, on YouTube, I am John's Longbox on YouTube.
And he has a few different shows, which someday I'm gonna get him to come to the network. But he's probably waiting until I get to Roku, and then he's going.
You asked me, and I said yes. I thought I was part of it. I was like, okay, yeah, sure.
Look, part of it means you get like free screen and you get to run your show out of our studio. That's
I first heard of you. I had Ron Mosicki on my channel. Yes. And Ron Mosicki is doing art for the backup story, Unheroic Tales.
Yes.
And then he and Brittany asked, would I be interested in coming on? And I didn't know who you were at the time. You know what I mean? I was like, who's this guy Pops? Is he a freak? Is this an Amway scam? You know what I mean? I didn't know. You got to protect yourself. So I asked people around. They're like, oh, and I just realized I spelled John wrong in the chat, but whatever.
I hit that P all the time.
So then I reached out to you, or you reached out to me. I forget which. And you said, "Hey, you want to join the network?" I went, "Yeah." I thought that was it. I thought I was part. So here's finding out a year later that I'm not part of the network.
Well, I mean, like I said, when anybody that comes into the network,
just for that, I'll eat the chicken nugget.
I give them the keys to the kingdom over here. They got the full professional StreamYard with all the bells and whistles,
Oh,
and
cool.
The sponsors pay for the StreamYard for the year.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so that's part of it. You get 8 destinations to send your show to. Okay, so you can send it to your Twitter, your Facebook, your Twitch, your YouTube, and then we can send it to the Madness channels as well. So it goes out to like 8 different destinations at once. That's part of it. Okay, but yeah, I mean, we love you. Yes, we associate with you, and I want you.
I was like, okay, I thought it was just like one of those. Yeah, you want to be a part of it? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, look, just like that.
I don't have to go to a crossroads and sign my name in chicken blood or anything like that, do I? Okay.
Once we go to Roku, that's one part of it. Well, of course, I'll be giving you a contract as a showrunner as to what your return is, expected return would be, stuff like that. But nothing that like I own your content. Nothing. I don't want to. I want you to still be able to go on YouTube and all the other places and make money wherever you can. I just want you to bring your show to Roku because it's an untapped audience. There ain't nobody over there doing what we do. The more eyes, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the way I look at it. And that was the whole purpose behind building the Roku channel. But yeah, if you want to take advantage of all the perks of being in the network, I'll hook you up. We could talk. What kind of StreamYard do you use right now? Do you already pay for the Pro?
Yeah, I think I paid like $65 for the year or something like that.
65 a month, you mean?
No, I paid something for a year, whatever it was. It was like a deal.
Probably the 25 a month level.
I haven't been billed in a long time, unless they forgot about me. But
no,
I did a year's subscription.
Yeah, you might have done a year at the 25 a month level. That's what I'm saying. Because I think for us it's like $600 for the year for the professional, the $50 a month plus all the extra seats. Because you got to have it. You can't just have 1 or 2 admin seats when you got this many shows. You got to have more seats to keep everybody happy. But yeah, like Silverline, Roland, they do 3 shows on the network. You don't even have to do all your shows on the network. You can bring like one over here, one of your weekly shows, and do the rest of them on your channel and continue to grow each of them organically.
Okay.
You just get more help from us pushing people your way. This is what when we get to Roku, Monday Madness is going to Roku. My show is not going to be on YouTube. It's going to Roku exclusively. But, that's just somebody else has to do that. I want to push. And now I want to push something else because this is really why we're here. John, this thing is kicking ass, bro.
Yeah, it's chugging along pretty good. If we could get to 4,000, we'll hit the second stretch goal. And the second stretch goal being another card. But let's talk about the beginning. So this is Heroic Tales. This is a comic book. It went through a couple of phases. Originally, it was going to be an anthology, and then I realized that's a bad idea. So it was going to be every issue was going to feature a different character because I have like a billion characters. Me and my friends have been playing a role-playing game called Villains and Vigilantes since we were about 12.
Right.
And I'm sure you know that game. And we just love that game. And like we would play like obsessive kids. We would play all the time. So I got characters that I made like when I was 12 years old. I got, I'm going to sound like Mitt Romney here, but I got binders full of superheroes. And then, so I was like, I want to tell all these great stories and, and adventures that we had. And then I was like, all right, COVID happened. People stopped hanging out. People stopped doing stuff. I moved. A couple of my friends moved. So it got to be like a lonely time. So I was like, all right, I'm going to write these scripts out. And then I started my YouTube channel. But I was like, when I hit a certain level, maybe I'll make a comic. And then I was like, I started to doubt myself. Then when I saw guys like Richard C. Beyer were making comics, and getting like Chuck Dixon writing, I was like, oh my God, this could actually happen.
Let me interrupt you for just a second. I want you to keep talking. I have to run up and open the door and let 2 dogs in the house and then run back down here.
I'm good at talking. So, and then I saw RJ from the Fourth Age, he made a comic too, and I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. So I fell in love with Renzo Rodriguez's artwork. To me, it's like perfect for I want to do like classic blue sky superheroes. No deconstruction, no like is the good guy really secretly a bad guy? Like the patriarch is a good guy. He's a good guy. He's happily married. He's a loving father. You know, he's a patriotic good guy. You know, I'm tired of that. Like as much as I love the Watchmen, I'm tired of seeing superheroes broken down. So he's just a classic blue sky superhero. And so I wrote up a story. I got Renzo Rodriguez to do the art, and I just fell in love with the characters. And then other people started telling me switching out the character in issue 2 is not a good idea. You know, you've been promoting this character for like a while now, and I've already seen like fan art from him. You know, so I'm like, yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. So this issue is a complete story. It's a 30-page comic. It's got the introduction to the patriarch, not his origin. I didn't want to do the origin yet because I feel like an origin for a character you don't really know doesn't have the emotional impact. So this is just it's called Daddy's Home, and it's the patriarch trying to get home. I know. RJ's a great. RJ is a wonderful guy. I'll talk about RJ when I'm done hustling my comic. RJ is a wonderful guy. He without RJ, I don't think anything I've done would have happened. He's the first person on the internet to reach out to me. For whatever strange reason, I cannot fathom that guy's head. He took a liking to me, and he basically made it like I'm his sidekick for a while. And RJ and I do a comic book team-up show on Wednesday nights where we alternate channels with guests. But RJ, I cannot give that guy enough credit. He's a great guy, and I love it because he's so serious, and then I'm so goofy. And then when we do our team up show, I just try to make him laugh. That's like the goal of the hour is to make RJ laugh. But let's back to this. So I got Renzo to draw the comic. So it's a 30-page complete story, 2 stories, the patriarch story, and then Ron Mosicki does the unheroic tales. It's the origin of a villain, and the villain only appears in that origin. He'll play a bigger part going forward, but he's the mayor of the town where the city that the patriarch protects, Science City. Because you know me, the politicians have to be the bad guys. That there's in every comic book, there's always the politician bad guy. There's going to be the industrialist bad guy, the big business bad guy. There'll even be like a religious leader bad guy at some point in the future. But anyway.
Don't forget the entertainment mogul.
So I want the comic to be as affordable as possible. So, people telling me I'm crazy for doing it for $10, but I don't know. I felt guilty raising the price. So it's $10 for an issue. That's the Renzo Rodriguez cover. That's the A cover. That's the normal cover. And again, it's a self-contained story. So if you buy this, you don't have to wait 6 months, pay another $10 to complete the story. It's one and done. So I want this to be like Marvel. You got a complete story, satisfying story, but it builds. So issue 2, if you read issue 1 first, you'll have a little bit more insights on issue 2. But if you pick up issue 2 without issue 1, you'll get everything. You'll get a complete story also. But it rewards. So please don't miss issue 1. I'm not saying miss issue 1, but you know what I'm saying. It'll build like Legos.
Right.
And if you scroll down,
I was going to say, for those of you who are like me that can't afford $25 books every time you buy a book,
right?
Okay, look,
I can't do anything about the shipping, folks. You know what I mean? That's beyond my control, but I can control the price of the comic. Well, and I'm hoping that everybody's going to see the quality of this, and that's going to make up for it. Because
what I was getting at is that it's like people like me that don't have a lot of money. We see the $10 book, and that's awesome for us as a consumer, right? But at the same time, it's like I know you're not making a whole bunch of money, but
I ain't making anything so far, guys.
Right, but the cheaper it is, the more chance you're going to get more people to buy.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping
eventually volume outruns and gets you out into the profit zone.
That's what I'm hoping.
It's got to be affordable enough to get people to dip in their wallet. It's got to be affordable enough to get me to dip in my wallet.
Right.
that's how many pages is this, John?
30 pages.
30 pages, $10.
It's a 22-page patriarch. No, it's a 20-page patriarch story, an 8-page unheroic tales story, and then a letters page, which I got my first letter yesterday. So I want to bring back the letters pages, and I know it's hard to put in a letters page in your first issue. So I just asked people to write about what fatherhood means, and fathers, because that's the patriarch is about. It's a tribute to fathers. So I got one great letter, and then I'll write, thank yous and everything like they normally do in Marvel Comics on the first issue. And then I got a couple of ads. Don't get upset. It's not ads that I'm making profits. It's goofs on classic ads, that you'd saw in comics.
Even if it's something you're making a little money toward production, that's not a big deal. If you're promoting your friends.
It's my friends making goofy ads for old spoofing old Marvel ads.
I'm all for promoting your friends, though. That's all I do. So if you got to add promoting your friends, like I just got done proofreading a RPG book for Chris from Laughing Road, right? And I got to the very back page of it, and there's an ad for Path of the Pale Rider. And it's an RPG book, but it's got an ad for a comic, right? A comic series. And I was
it's funny that you said RPG book, because I the role-playing game Village of Vigilantes, I wanted to, I can't even talk. The first card that comes out is going to have the patriarch and the superhero pose. And when you flip the card over, my intention was to have his stats written out in the Village of Vigilante. But I'm like, can I do that? So I kept trying to contact the man who owns those games. And I don't know what it is. People have since told me that he's flaky. And I was like, all right, let me just try one more time. Like after months of emailing, I emailed one more time. And within like 4 minutes, he replied back, gave me his phone number, gave me his blessing. So the back of the card will have the Villains Vigilante stats. And then he even said, that he was going to promote my comic on his Villains Vigilante site. I got to check to see if he's done that. And then he brought up the suggestion, how about when you're up to like 6 issues, we make a Villains Vigilante source book.
There you go. See, that's what I'm talking about.
So not only did he say it was okay, he was initiating, and I tell you, I've been playing this role-playing game for 40 years. I would love to give something back to that game, Dude, I got a lot of plans, but one step at a time.
Build a Heroes of Vigilantes game around your character, or a side story around your character. That'd be bad.
Unfortunately, I was always the GM, so I'm all the NPCs. If those of you who don't know what that means, is I'm the dungeon master. If everybody knows Dungeons and Dragons, so I control all the bad guys. I control all the other superheroes. And in this first issue, I don't have any of my players, all of my friends. I didn't put any of their characters in because I didn't think I had the right to do that. That's their characters. You know what I mean?
Right.
And when I announced I was making a comic stuff, they all got mad at me for not putting their characters in. I was like, oh, okay. So issue 2, it's going to have cameos of their characters. And then there might be full-blown stories about, because they got some great characters, and I'll credit them and everything like that. And when Hollywood comes out for the eventual movie.
But see, this is one of the things I encourage people to do. If you have a side story or a spin-off or something of what you're doing, make an ash can and make it a stretch goal. And then you're giving everybody a little preview, a little 10-page preview of that spinoff. But obviously, it's not costing you anything because it's coming out of the stretch goal money, right? You actually.
I never thought of that.
Dude, all I do is give people ideas to promote, and get and help push. Because if I get a ash can with this book, right, for your next project, just a little 10-page preview, in black and white. It don't even have, you know what I mean? It's just an ash can, right? For one thing, I collect them. I got a bunch of them. But secondly, that gives me an idea whether or not I'm going to be on board for that next one. You give me an idea whether or not I'm going to like it already. You see? So now either I'm going to be like drooling waiting for it to get here, or I'm going to be like, I hope it gets better. You know what I mean? But I get an idea.
Well, I didn't know how much this was going to cost. I didn't know, it's my first issue.
Right. Right. But that's what I mean.
I had all these plans to do so many, and then I was like, you know what? I'm getting crazy. Let's just put out the comic and see where it goes.
Yeah, I would never do it like just as part of the campaign, but I would definitely do it as a stretch goal where I know I'm getting enough money to pay for doing it. Don't ever just add a stretch goal and go, okay, I'm going to do this at this without knowing that you've made enough to pay for it.
And that's why I'm not showing the cards yet. They're actually being made as we speak. Well, the art for the cards is done, but the backs of the cards is not done. The art was easy, you know.
This is also something I encourage everybody to do. I'm glad I didn't have to tell you. Retail tiers, people.
Right.
Retail tiers. This is important. Yeah. If you want to get on a shelf in a comic store, make it affordable for the comic store to buy your book so they can make a little money when they put it on your shelf. It's just helps you sell more books, and there's still more comic people buy books in a comic store than anywhere else.
Yeah, you're right about that. This is a digital tier. I was dragged kicking and screaming into the modern era with the digital tier because I'm not a fan of digital comics, but
me neither.
I understand the necessity of customers want it, and ultimately you got to give the customers what they want. So $6 you'll get a digital copy. And one of the guys who's been on my channel, he's making his own comic, and he was just like, I'm in Ireland, it's going to cost me a fortune to ship it to Ireland. So he was the one that actually made me go, you're right. Ultimately, maybe by the time issue 6 comes out, the people who bought the digital tiers will get a backup tier of all 6 of them, and that'll be worth the shipping. That's the hope in the future. But yeah, I understand digital tier because I don't want to read comics on my screen, but
I can't. When I'm sitting in this chair, I'm working.
Yeah, I don't want to read comics on this.
I don't want to sit here and read comics too. I do that over there, lounged out, right? When the power goes out, I light some candles and I get my reader stack and I start reading comics because I live out in the boonies and power or internet outages are kind of frequent. They happen, pretty regular. So you got to have something to do when the internet's off or the power goes out, right?
Yep, I agree.
I want real comics. I can't do that. I can't sit here in front of the computer and read. No, just can't. This is where I work.
This next one is a pint glass with the comic book. The patriarch, he comes home. He's a dad. He'll have a beer. So I made pint glasses. And as you can see, one side has the laurel leaf, his symbol, and the other side has the logo. I love that classic comic book logo. So that's $20. $10 for the comic, $10 for the pint glass, obviously, plus shipping.
This over here is by Renzo.
Yeah, this is all Renzo so far. Yep, you'll look at this is the main cover, Renzo. And I was adamant about having a corner box.
Yeah. I had one on my Chromebook too. You got to.
Yeah, and then the next, if you scroll down more, this is the alternate cover. This is the variant cover. This is by Pat Broderick.
Oh, good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, Pat Broderick is a legendary comic book artist, and he was the first comic book artist who became my favorite comic book artist. If you know what that means, you know what I mean. Like, we all have. But when I was a wee kid, he was doing Captain Marvel for Marvel Comics, Marvel, and I just loved Captain Marvel and Drax the Destroyer flying through the solar system and fighting. And so I'm if I saw that Pat Broderick was drawing a comic, I followed him around. So I asked Mike Baron if he would contact, and Mike Baron put in a good word, and lo and behold, I have one of my favorite comic book artists of all time doing a variant cover for my first comic book. This is just a geek come true.
Yeah.
And so you can get this cover $10 also. People are telling me I'm crazy. I should have charged more, but
you're trying to sell books still. Or look,
I'm trying to sell books. Like I'm anticipating or hoping, praying, whatever word you want, that 6 months from now, when people get their books, other people are going to be like, dude, you got any more? And I can have a second chance campaign or something,
Now, one thing I was going to say, it's funny. You bring up Mike Baron and how he connected you to Pat.
Yeah.
It's funny because I met Mike like a long time ago. Okay. Like 4 years ago. He came on one of the shows. Actually, I asked him if he would come on one of the shows, and he sent me his phone number, right? Because I'm asking him on Facebook. I'm like, hey, man, would you be interested in coming out on one of the shows? And he sent me his phone number, and he said, call me, Pops.
Did you
So
call
I called him up. Like, I never talked to this dude before. And I called him up. We talked for like 2 hours.
Mike Baron was my first guest who I didn't know in person.
Yeah, see, just amazing guy, right? But he told me like way back then, you need to talk to Chuck Dixon. You need to get Chuck out on your show.
I had Mike Baron, and I got Chuck. Once I had Mike Baron and Chuck Dixon, the fear went away, and I started asking everybody. Kerry says, "Ooh, what's this one?" If you're talking about my cover,
yeah, you're gonna like it, Kerry. You're gonna like it. This is Heroic Tales, and it's about a good father.
Right. I got tired of dads always being put down in pop culture. Yeah. I don't know about you, Pops, but my dad was a great guy. An old fashioned father. He had 7 kids. I joke, but it's not really a joke that there was entire months when I didn't see him except on Saturdays or Sundays because he was gone to work before I woke up, working overtime, and I was in bed as a little kid before he got home. You know what I mean? This was a hardworking guy, so always a good guy, did the right thing. I said if I ever got famous, I was going to sue my parents because I can't relate to everybody because I had a happy childhood. My parents never got divorced. I don't fit in with everybody. But so I got tired of turning on the Cosby Show, and she's making fun. Well, how bad is this for a reference these days? And they're making fun of the father, and then you turn on this, and dad can't open the jar of mayonnaise, and the wife scornfully opens it up.
Yeah,
or the father's the goofball or whatever. So every commercial, the father doesn't know what to do. Honey, help!
I couldn't find the diapers, but I could find the cereal. Yeah, I
wanted to. So in this comic book, he's a good superhero, meaning he's a good guy. He's nothing sneaky about him. He's a loving husband, and he's a devoted father. And all he wants to do is go home. And if you scroll down, I'll drive the point home. Scroll down, and this is the back cover. This is him with his family. Oh my God, do I love this? I wanted an image that would encapsulate my comic book, all the themes in the comic book. And I'm on my commuter train, and I just started daydreaming, and it came to me. And this is almost exactly what I pictured. So I messaged Renzo, and I just described it to him, and he drew the pencils. He dropped everything that he was doing, drew the pencils, and oh my God, it was awesome. And then I went and got it colored. And I joke, and people don't like, well, my wife doesn't like when I make this joke, that if I was to die tomorrow, at least I had something to do with this piece of art. I'm not even joking when I say this is one of my favorite pieces of art, not just in my comic book, but in all comics. But this is his family. That's his wife down there in the pinkish purple, with the basket. That's his, oldest daughter in the blue. And these are all his kids. And in a world where there's superheroes and super villains and nut job mad scientists and killer clown villains, his family lives far away in the mountains. I'm not going to give away all the stories, but there's reasons why they're hide away in the mountains. So it's hard to get to him. Nobody really knows where he lives. And this is going to cause a little bit of problems with his kids when they get older. Dad, we're not prisoners here. We didn't do anything wrong. Can't we leave? You know what I mean? Like one of the kids wants to leave to go to college. That's going to be a story coming up, things like that. And then dad is just a loving dad. He doesn't want the kid to go off into the world, especially knowing what's out there.
Yeah.
And the mom is not a shrew. They love each other. They want to spend time with each other. There's going to be issue 4, the patriarch stories. It's going to be called Game Night, and it's the father just wants to have game night with the kids, but there's super heroics that need to happen. You know what I mean? Like they're a good family, and I don't know. When was the last time you saw like a TV show or where the whole family is just good, happy people, well-adjusted? There will be problems among the family. Of course there will be. Otherwise, it's dull. You know,
they quit making shows like that a long time ago.
right? So so you could get this is the back cover. This is going to be on every comic. And then if you scroll down, one of my favorite things. Scroll down, Pops. Oh yeah, okay. I forgot about this. Is the interior art. I want to show a couple pages of interior art to show you that you're not getting bamboozled. You know, it's beautiful Renzo Rodriguez artwork, glorious Daniel De La Silva Rodriguez coloring. You know, I'm telling you, this you're already seeing hints of future stories just in these 2 pages, and I'm not telling you. You got to buy those comics to find out. But everything's thought up. Somewhere around issue 5, you're gonna go, oh, that's why. You know what I mean? I'm hoping because, you know, we got Boss Moxie robbing the bank because Richard C. Meyer in one of his videos said, don't bad guys just rob banks anymore in comic books? So I thought that would funny if I started out my comic book with the bank robbery, an old-fashioned bank robbery. So it's an old-fashioned gangster, but you'll find out if through continuing, why did he dress up like an old-fashioned gangster? You know, why would he do something crazy like that? You know, you see, he's flirting. You know, he's still a man, but this girl is catcalling him because I wanted to play up on that old comic book trope where like the girls always hit on the guys, but the guys left. Yeah, like Billy Batson, the girls would flirt with Captain Marvel, and he would leave. And the Spirit, Ellen, was always hitting on him, and he would leave. Or Plastic Man. So I thought that was an old-fashioned comic book trope, but there's a reason why. He's happily married. The girls flirt with him, and he says, "Thank you, my dear." He's charming, but he's going home. And you see that the reporter woman, that's the Lois Lane character. She's a little annoyed. That's the Lois Lane character. You know, she's gonna have her story arc. And here he is, just happy to go home, but trouble prevents him from going. You can hear my cat screaming. We're ignoring my cat. Cat don't like that. You know, we have a family driving off a cliff. He's going to save the day. You know, again, I love the storytelling. You guys know what's going on, even though there's no word balloons, because Renzo is really good at the storytelling. And this I wanted to show that his powers are. He's not like Superman.
Their car, dude.
Yeah, he's fixing the car. He's not Superman. He you know what I mean? He has different powers. So I wanted to show off that he has different powers than Superman. You know, people taking cell phone pictures. You know, it's set in the current year. You know, he fixes the rail guard because he doesn't want anybody else to get hurt.
Right.
And that's the end. Now this I wanted to show, this coin right here.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, this coin is the size of a nickel. They're expensive to make, but there's a place in Norway called the Norse Foundry that I don't know how I stumbled upon them. Oh, I know how. At Dice Tower Con, they make coins and stuff. But so I actually had to order this way in advance to get here because it takes a long time. But I love their work. So one side says Heroic Tales, the other side has his laurel reef symbol. So that's $5. It doesn't change the postage. It's the size and weight of a nickel. So I could just stick it in the Gemini mailer without increasing the postage.
Right.
So if you that's a separate tier in itself. Just hit boom. It's $5. You know, that's the pint glass. And then I already talked about that. And then the stretch goals. The first card we're gonna try by the end of this weekend to get the picture up. I don't know if that's gonna mess with. I'll probably talk to Luke Stone about that to so it's not interfered. But we'll flip over the first card. So every 1,000 from now on, we're gonna reveal a card until we get to 8,000. I didn't think we'd go past anywhere near 8,000, but whatever. If we go past 8,000, we'll have to come up with something else. But this is the team. This is the Avengers here. I had a lot of hiccups along the way, but I smoothed it out. I got a great team of people, except for that John Bua guy. He's kind of shady. But I got Renzo. I got Daniel De La Silva Rodriguez. He's the colorist. Bill Williams is the letterer. Bill Williams is the writer and the letterer on his own comic called Pantheon, which is a great comic. So, I got Ron Mosicki, who's doing the backup story, and Oscar Carano, who's the colorist for the backup story. And Oscar is asking if anybody needs a colorist, and he's a good colorist too. So if anybody needs a colorist, message me and we'll put you in touch with Oscar.
I know Ron. I know Ron's back.
Yeah, Ron. Yeah, Ron's a good guy. He's doing art, and his stories, his artwork is good. Very, very good, professional, talented guy. Easy to work with. Pleasure. Everybody's been a pleasure. This whole thing. Scroll down. I just wanted to point out something. There's a little bit more. Here you go. This is the tier. I should have put this as the featured tier. This is get one of each cover. $20. Get one of each cover plus shipping. Again, I can't do anything about the shipping.
Right.
But I know a couple of people like to collect all the covers.
Who is going to do your fulfillment, John?
As of right now, me. I have Critical Blast on hold if it gets too much. But as of right now, unfortunately, I could probably do it in a couple of days off from work. You know what I mean?
You've got 105 days to go. You could end up with 1,000 backers before this thing's over.
Hey, I would love to need Critical Blast to do my fulfillment.
You did talk to him about.
Oh, I had him. I forget who recommended. His name is RJ. Also, he came on my channel and we had a big long talk. He gave me his phone number. We talked, and I told him the deal. If I don't hit X amount, I'll fulfill it myself. If I hit X,
Right.
And he's a cool guy. He gave me suggestions about, like, when I got 6 issues, we'll make a trade paperback and he could get it on Amazon and we could do hardcovers, blah, blah, blah. Oh, he was a great guy to talk to. I hope I have to work with him.
Well, you will eventually. I mean, everybody, part of it, okay, is like you've talked to Corissa from More the Chaos, right?
Yeah. She's
Okay.
been on my channel.
Yeah, she goes. I mean, she's putting out books. She goes right into fulfillment. She goes right back into the next book. Boom, 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 working her ass off, right? Eventually, it's going to be like Corissa. You're going to have to let somebody else handle fulfillment. Even though she's not doing the art, she is the co-writer. She is doing writing. And every day you spend stuffing boxes is a day you're not working on your project.
Right. So that's what I said. I hope I have the problem where I need a fulfillment center. Yeah. So
I do love everything that. See, I met him before he even started doing fulfillment too. He told me his plan, and I was like, "Oh, dude, we're pushing you. We're pushing you forever." I even saw. You know who Margaret Weiss is, the author from Dragonlance?
Oh, okay. I know of her. I haven't read Dragonlance.
She posted on Twitter about like having too many books to fulfill. What do you think I did, John? What do you think I did?
Yeah, good.
I dropped RJ's link right there in her thing. I was like, "Yo, this dude handles fulfillment, no problem." Just get rid of that problem. You don't need that problem. You got work to do, and especially for the artist.
So this is my plan, and again, who knows? So this has got 105 days to go. So I'm exclusive on Fund My Comic right now, and Eric, I keep saying Eric, Luke is a great guy. He the owner of Fund My Comic, and when this is done, I want it, like, this is going to end, and I want the next day it's going to start on Kickstarter, and I have another cover by Michael T. Gilbert that'll be on a Kickstarter exclusive cover, and then that'll go for however long, and then when that ends, I'm going to go on Indiegogo, and I have a Mike Gustovich cover for Indiegogo. So I'm hoping between all of those, I can unlock all the stretch goals, and, hopefully more. And then when the Indiegogo, so when this is done, I'm going to stop printing. So I'm hoping by the time Indiegogo finishes, I want to start going back to Kickstarter, Fund My Comic again for issue 2. That's the goal. And by that time, everybody except the Indiegogo guys will have their comics. That's the goal. Now let's see if it works that way, but that's the plan.
That's what
Ideally, I'd like to be able to do 3 issues a year, but I'll probably realistically only be able to do 2 until we get this oiled machine running and pumping and you know. But there you go. Oh, and as I was saying, the plan going forward is issue number 2 will have the patriarch in it again. I have the stories. I'm going to get the story to Renzo this Monday, and we're starting issue 2. And then you flip it over, and it's going to have another character. So it will have other characters, but every issue will have the patriarch full story, and then flip the book over. It'll be another full story of another character. So you dance with the one that brought you. People seem to like the patriarch, so he's the flagship character.
And thank you for giving me a lot of time to get this one, because I'm working on something else right now, and I'm really trying hard not to spend money on comics.
Right.
I can't do what
you're gonna have about 6 months to get issue 1, you know, between all 3 platforms.
I mean,
but you can have a limited window to get the variant covers.
It'll be fun, my comic that I go to. I'm just saying, you're giving me a little time here, and I appreciate that, because I want the first printing of the first. You see,
you're a comic book person. That's what we want.
I'm a collector, John.
When I find a campaign of a comic that I like and it's on to issue 3, I'm like, can I get the first printing issue 1? Like Fiendish, I didn't find out about Renee's comic Fiendish until issue 2.
Right.
So I backed issue 2, and there was a second printing on the campaign. I wrote her and paid a premium for the first printing, because that's the kind of jerk I am.
I paid for one of the damaged ones just because I wanted one, because it was a first printing.
Right.
Even though it had that
Sonic Roll, I had to
get
the first printing of Saving the World.
Yeah. I mean, even though it had that messed up stamp on it, I still wanted it because that was the first printing of Renee's book.
Yeah.
You know, that's me. I'm the same way, John. Also, I also do proofreading.
Okay.
Errors jump off the page at me. It's not even that I'm good at proofreading. Errors smack me in the face. Like they jump off, like they're bold and italicized and underlined. Like, look, this word's messed up. You know what I mean? It's like it's a visual. It takes me out of the story, actually. So I do a lot of proofreading for a lot of my friends, because I don't want to be taken out of the story when I'm reading the comic.
Yep.
You know? So anybody who like wants, you know, I mean, I looked at what they charge for proofreading, and I almost couldn't believe that they charged that much. I don't charge, like, you know, a penny and a half a word or whatever the hell they were like. I was like, what? I'm not gonna, you know, it's just ridiculous what the actual market is for proofreaders. It's like, yeah, I don't charge that much. I'm real easy to work with, and I'm quick. As soon as I have something in my hand to read, I get it right back to you. You know, but that I do that mainly because I like getting proof copies of books. So I'll do the service so I can get a proof copy in my hand, because I like having stuff like that in my collection. That's just who I am. You know, if you're gonna get it, get that first print. That's me. That's you. I know that's you. You're the same way I am. Collector.
Yeah, I get so mad. I've been rescanning my comic collection because my computer's dying. So I got to get a new computer. And the first thing that went was the database. So I'm re-going through my collection, and I'm finding out, because I scan and it goes into a database. A second print. Oh, man. I thought it was the first print.
Yeah. I have a question for you.
Sure.
You know the Freak Brothers books, right?
Yeah, the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers.
Okay. How out of 35 printings can you tell which one's number one?
I have no idea.
I can't either.
You know,
I know the one I have isn't the first printing, because I think it's 75 cents, and I think the first 4 or 5 printings were 50 cents.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna look it up on my software program right now as we're talking. See if there's
they say different things. Some people say, oh, the titles are different colors. Some people, you know, it's like everybody's got a different, but I don't think anybody really knows. It's
like there's there's a bootleg copy of Cerebus #1, and the only way to tell the difference is it's actually better quality.
Makes sense.
Okay, it says here for the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers first printing, cover characteristics. Oh, I just hit a button. Include purple cover price text and gray tire on the edge of the cover.
Okay, I'll have to look. Well, I mean, like I said, I'm pretty sure mine's not, but I've never been able to tell. You know, it's like I want to know what printing mine is. You know, but there's no way. There's no way to tell. It's like I spent 2 weeks probably trying to figure out what printing.
Here, I'm sharing the screen. This is the colors of the first Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers.
Yeah,
could you see that?
So 50 cents. See, I think mine's 75 cents. So it's obviously a few years later.
Yes, 50 cents, and the 50 cents says purple, and over here where it says Freak Brothers, it's gray. And the tire over here is gray, is what it says. That's how you know.
That's just so weird, dude.
I tell you, I've become known as the comic book guy, at work and whatever, and ultimately it leads to like sadness, because I had a buddy that was like, oh yeah, I got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with purple gold foil, blah, blah. And I knew right away that wasn't the first printing, because the first printing of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles looks like garbage.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm saving this for my son. Now my son's about to get married, and blah, blah, blah. So he came over one day and he saw me scanning. So he lived in the same apartment building. So he went and got his copy. It was like 8th printing. It was worth like $4. Yeah. And he paid like $100 for it. The shyster at the comic books. And then I had a guy at work. He's like, oh, I got a bunch of comics. Do you want to buy them? And I was like, well, not sight unseen. I don't know what you got. I don't know what to offer. So I was like, take a picture. So he's like, John, I'm getting divorced and I need money. I was like, all right. So he just brought in a box full of comics, and it was 90s Green Lantern, 90s, nothing worth. So I just said, I felt bad for the guy. So I was like, $100. And he was like, I didn't even want them. I was, giving him charity. And he was just like, I guess everybody thinks that comic books are worth thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I always feel bad when I have that conversation with people about that. And just recently, the guy at work just bought my comic, and we were talking about comics. And I said, just take a video. So he has a box that he just videoed with his phone. I was like, you got nothing. And he was like, yeah, I didn't think. Yeah, but he was realistic about it. On that off chance that he had something worth money. But
I sold some stuff over last weekend. We had auction, which was basically just a sale because people got stuff for opening bid. Man, people got a steal over there, man, on some art. And everything that was in the auction obviously is still available that didn't sell for the opening bid. It's like tons of stuff. But we sold some sketch covers and a couple of autographed comic books and just stuff. Fanta got a couple books that she wanted that I had that she missed out on when the campaigns were a bit out there, but I was like, hey, sell this, sell that. Because I'm trying to get the funds to build the Roku network. And I don't care if I got to sell some of my own stuff to make it happen.
Did you say Fanta, like Phantasmagoria Girl?
Yeah. Fanta.
Speaking of her, she made this trailer for me, if you share
That's awesome, didn't she?
Yeah. I didn't ask her to do it. She just wanted to do it. So check this out.
Most excellent. Yeah, I love Frances. She's awesome. Her package went out today. Thomas's, Daniel Riley's package went out today. But we had an issue with this one package. This one I had to rebox because I had it in a priority box, a priority mailer. And they wanted $43 for me to ship this 400 miles north. And I was like, yeah, no. I said, how much would it be if I just put it in a plain cardboard box? So she weighed it and she quoted me 24 bucks or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go home and rebox that and bring it back. So I took that priority mailer and I put it in this box. Put some styrofoam on both sides of it. And 25 bucks less or 20 bucks less to ship it, guys. Shipping is ridiculous.
Yep.
It's like seriously ridiculous. But we keep pushing. We power through it. And one of my goals has always been to get people's books in stores. So retail tiers on your campaigns, guys. We tell all of our friends that have comic book stores, hey, that one's got a retail tier. That one's got a retail tier. Because they don't want one book.
Right.
I mean, you got, and if you want it on that shelf where 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 people going to see it every day, you got to get it in the stores, guys. You got to. One of the things that we encourage and hope for. And we got a lot of friends now that run stores that, are part of the network or watch what we're doing. Which reminds me, John, I was going to say now, going back to Mike Barron, Chuck Dixon. Now, Mike Barron's show actually runs out of our studio now.
Oh, cool.
The Baron Earl Show. Chuck Dixon lets us do replays the next day of his shows. And I was going to say, that's something that we can do for you where we're not stepping on your actual broadcast, but replay it up through our network like the next day.
Oh, cool.
Stuff like that. If you're interested, we can talk off camera. We can set something up. I like bringing more. The more we have when we hit Roku, the bigger splash we're going to make. You know how when you go to the streaming service and you're looking for something to watch, and it doesn't matter which one, they got the recommended for you, and right, and you kind of get stuck there trying to find something you want to watch, right? That's what I want to happen when people go to our Roku network. I want to have so many different playlists of shows there that people get stuck trying to figure out which one they want to watch first. So the more we have, the bigger splash we make when we get there. So definitely something I want to talk to you about. Would love to have at least one of your shows on the network. Like I say, by that I mean going out to all of our destinations as well. Our Twitter, like this is going to Critical Blast right now. It's going to my Twitter, their Twitter, my Twitch, my YouTube, my Facebook group, and then my Facebook page, and then I shared it out to like 50 Facebook groups, just because that's what I do at the beginning when the ads are playing. I sit here and I share it out to all the different comic groups that I'm in. And then, like some people are in all those comic groups too, and they just got spammed with 50 notifications, and I'm like, sorry, but not really, because that's my job, is to make sure everybody sees what you're doing, what everybody else is doing. That's what we want to do, is get more eyes on projects. I will highlight this one again on Monday morning, but since you got that 105 days thing going on,
yep,
yeah, it's like the urgency isn't like it is with the normal campaign. You know what I mean? Now, my second question is: are you going to set up a storefront?
Probably. I think why not? Why why not make it easy for people to buy something? It's going to sound mean to say, but you got to make it easy for the impulse buyer. Don't.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
that's why Kickstarter is my least favorite of the platforms. You know, because 60 days later you change your mind or whatever, how long the campaign goes, or the credit card is maxed out, and
Yep. Yep.
So Kickstarter,
Yeah.
I don't like the Kickstarter model.
I'm not a fan of the Kickstarter model at all. And hell, John, saying that 3 years ago got me pulled from the cover of a comic book. Because the guy was like, dude, Facebook or Kickstarter's going to see this, man, and it's going to, and they're going to pull me down. And I'm like,
You was
wow.
probably right at the time.
No, see, back then nobody even knew who
Kickstarter
I
used to do
was.
stuff like that.
No, see, back then nobody even knew who I was. Right? I was new. I wasn't like, I didn't have this, you know, 1,000 people.
But I know the Kickstarter used to look through your Facebook and Twitter feeds and stuff, and I've heard stories where they didn't pay people because they didn't like their politics. So you know,
that's what I mean. It's like, you know, all I was saying was what you just said.
Yeah,
I don't like the way they have it set up where people can just back out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if you buy most anything else, unless it's on credit, which you're still liable for, you got to pay for it. You know, I get it. It's crowdfunding, but if you're really trying to help people, you're not going to pull you're not going to spend money you don't have, and you're not going to pull your bid your pledge later. You know, I get it. Stuff happens, but like yesterday, or this morning, I saw a post in my own group where somebody lost almost $1,000 worth of pledges 4 days before the end of his campaign
on Kickstarter.
On Kickstarter, yeah. You know, that's why I like Fund My Comic. They take your money right now.
Yep.
Right now, you know.
Same with Indiegogo. And then Indiegogo does that shadow banning, which
they piss me off, so I quit promote. See, the only one I recommend and promote is Fund My Comic. I will show your campaign when it's on one of them other platforms, but I don't recommend those platforms to people, and I don't promote the platform itself. I will promote a book that's on it. You know what I mean? It's like it's not the creator's fault. They got to get seen wherever they can.
Yeah.
You know, I get that. You got to sell books, sell books, sell books. I'm all about selling books, man. You know, so also I know you're into RPGs and stuff, and you know we have an RPG show that we actually do on the network. We're changing the time to Friday nights at 9:00.
Oh, cool!
And that's because we're trying to. We've been doing it during the day. People, you know, limited to who can be there because most people work and whatnot. You know, so. We're changing that to Friday nights at 9:00 so we can try and bring in a few more players because we have a blast, man. You know, so if you know anybody that's looking for a game or whatever, always send them our way.
You got it.
You know, like I said, I'd love to get you in as you know, bring at least one of your shows in as definitely a Madness, you know, a Madness show so we can promote more of what you're doing.
Okay.
I work a lot harder for the people in the network. I ain't gonna lie, you know, like Roland from Silverline, they're in the network. You know, it's like people that actually do shows in the Madness Network. Yeah, I put in a little extra from them because they got faith in me to bring this to Roku. You know, so sell books, people.
Yep.
Is there anything? This is something I ask everybody because I hate leaving a show and having stuff that I wanted to say that I didn't get to say. Is there anything we didn't cover?
No, we pretty much covered it all. This is a labor of love to old Bronze Age comics, you know, Blue Sky comics. I'm trying to capture the field of comics that I loved as a kid, and I still reread and I still enjoy. You know, it's escapism with a heart. I don't like no politics, you know. And I will say this: there will be conservative guys. I have a conservative superhero. I have a liberal superhero, and I'm trying to write them all as logically and you know. So it's not going to be preachy and you know, agenda driven. But I'm trying to make real characters, and in the real world, everybody doesn't have the same politics. So you know, I'm just trying to make a realistic, fun, you know, There's going to be some elements of horror. There's going to be some elements of sci-fi. There's going to be a lot of Dungeons and Dragons inspired. If you guys have been playing Dungeons and Dragons, you're going to see, oh, okay, you know, because I like role playing games, and I'm a lot of, you know.
We just finished Tomb of Annihilation.
Oh, did you go into the face?
Oh,
did you go into the black mouth?
Dude, no, I wasn't dumb, but I did send my pet in there.
Yeah, I went in.
But what happened is that we just smoked it at the end.
Tomb of Annihilation, those early D&D modules, it was like, we're gonna get you, we're gonna get you, we're gonna get you. You know, like it's one of the things that turned me off to D&D. Well, I take it back. It's one of the things that made me write my own modules, because I always thought like the Gary Gygax, the early first wave stuff, it was always like Gary Gygax. I guess he hates his players because it's just impossible and difficult. So my philosophy for role-playing games is everybody's got to have fun.
Right.
If everybody doesn't have fun, then why play? But there has to be logical consequences and there has to be danger. Otherwise, there's no tension. And if there's no tension, there's no fun. So when I play role-playing games, there's a realistic chance that you could die.
Yeah.
There's a realistic chance that you could survive. Of course you can roll really, really badly. That's a role-playing game. But if you make stupid decisions, you're going to get hit with stupid consequences. But so I always try to design the stories so that you can succeed, but you could fail. Otherwise, why play? But I thought those Gary Gygax, like, there was almost like this will get the players. Like his goal, he felt that he wins if everybody dies.
Yeah, that's the way Max was running Tomb of Annihilation. He's like, look, I want you all to make secondary characters because you're probably going to die. Now, we went through the whole tomb, and it was like everything was going to kill us. Every time we confronted something, it's like Laurie's like, oh, shit, we're in trouble. It's like, but we ended up smacking everything down, right? All the way to the end, smacked the big dude down with no problem. And it was because of one character knowing his character very well and knowing his powers very well. And Laurie, not he, she pulled out the right, she summoned the right thing, and it just smacked the end dude, the boss, just smacked him down. It was like, we all just like, oh, okay, it's over. No climax. There was no climax to it at all. But the whole fighting through the tomb was a blast. Every fight was a fight, right? Yeah. But we got to the end, and it was like, we just smacked dude down like.
I remember at one point, I was a kid. I'm trying to think of how old. I must have been like 13. And I'm like, why wouldn't that dragon just eat all of these orcs? Why wouldn't that bugbear just kill all these things? Why are they just sitting waiting for us to open the door? It just made no sense. And I was then and there that I realized I like the role playing more than the hack and slash, and so I kind of started being a DM at that point. Right. So I could probably, since the age of 14, I could probably count the number of times I was a player on two hands. I've always been the lunatic that maps out everything and makes the character. And I try to make it, even though if some of the players don't get it, at least to me, this dungeon makes sense because it was designed to do this. And then like monsters came in, like there's not just a dragon sitting in a room that he has no access to the free skies. And, he's just sitting there waiting for that one dwarven adventure to open up the door so he can eat it. Like, to me, that just breaks I know it's a fantasy game, but like, so.
We played any of the Call of Cthulhu RPGs?
Yeah, I played Call of Cthulhu. I like that game because you start out as best as you're going to be and you just fight off madness and death. So you're never going to get better. You're only going to get worse.
I did Paper Chase the other day. Chris Brown from Laughing Rogue was GM me through it. And I did Paper Chase, and I did it as an investigative reporter and went outside the box right away knew what happened. And I told him, I was like, oh, man, dude was here taking it. Nobody stole these books. Dude just come back and got his books. Because I figured out right away he's not dead.
Paper Chase, what is that? I never heard of that one.
It's a guy who leaves his house to go. He wants to go underground and live with the mutant trolls or whatever's down there.
I thought Paper Chase was going to be like investigative journalism role playing.
Yeah,
game.
well, see, that's what it was. You can pick your character. I chose investigative journalist because I wanted to go figure out what the deal was, as opposed. I didn't want to be a detective. I wanted to play it as a journalist. But I made him work. As a GM, I made him work right away because I took him places he didn't think he'd have to go. We had to go to the library. We had to go to the police department. We had to go to the lawyer's office because I'm an investigative journalist, and I got to get to the bottom of paper trails and all that shit, right? And so I was playing my part. And Chris was like, at the end, he's like, you figured it out right away, and then you made me work for an hour and a half. I like that kind of stuff.
I joked around, but it's not a joke. Because we're comic book people. We like to dream. So dream big. So I made this promise that if I do, so here's an official, unofficial stretch goal. If I get to $100,000, I'm flying people out here like Brian Bao, like Fabrizio Aiello, Rini, and we're gonna make up their characters. We'll record it. I'll get Renzo out here. Renzo will be the patriarch, and we'll have a role-playing game of everybody playing their characters, and I'll make up an adventure and put them through their paces. Brian will be Wolf and Batsy.
Crom wants to be there.
Yeah,
Crom wants to come. He does. He has an origin and powers and everything already too. He's an actual comic character. Yeah,
Fabrizio's got that horse H. Hoover, so it'll be fun to have all of these characters that they pretend to be and fight monsters.
Yeah, I've already got to play Crom in a couple of different. I mean, I played him in one, and then he made a cameo in a different game that I didn't have anything to do with. He just showed up, and I was like, "Oh, that's cute." Playing, and my character shows up like is to help me for a minute, and then he was gone. It was like the GM just wrote that into the story. I was like, "Oh, that's awesome."
But I have a couple of hours break before another.
Where are you going to be?
Aldous, I forget what he calls it, but we're going to be on tonight. And
Aldous down by the farm or something like that.
Yes. I'm going to be on his, but I got to spend a couple of hours with my wife because we're going to be promoting all weekend. But so thanks a lot, Pops.
Anytime, man. It's always good talking to you. I'm going to load this up as the feature.
I know you're a guy who, excuse me, watch me choke to death on live TV. I know you're a guy who loves his comics. I enjoyed popping in on you on the show offs when you're talking about Thor.
Yes.
Yep.
But speaking of that, you said something about your first favorite artist.
It was Pat Broderick.
Yeah, and see, for me, it was Walt because of Thor 380. All them splash pages of Thor and the Serpent, just one after another, big page art, right?
Walt Simonson is it's criminal that he said that he was available for work, and Marvel said nobody wants to see that old-fashioned art anymore.
Oh,
no, I think the truth is they can't afford Walt.
Yeah, probably. I mean, they can't afford anybody.
But apparently they can't afford not to have him either because the president of Marvel is begging for Wednesday Warriors again. Well, give us a reason to go back. We all love comic books. Give us a reason.
Yeah, make it right.
Yeah,
make it good. Make it right. Make it fun.
I think we are all begging for comics to be good again. Look at I'm spending thousands of dollars to make comic books because comic books are bad these days, But even if Marvel and DC gets good, still back Heroic Tales.
Well, yeah, and look, indie comics, they made their mark the last 4 or 5 years. They really have made their mark and proved that they do deserve to be on shelves in comic book stores.
Right.
Just like the big two, they've proven it, man. There's some really good stuff out there. Yeah. If you're not paying attention, just go look at Fun My Comic. You'll see all kinds of cool titles there.
A lot of good stuff.
You'll see that.
I gotta get going.
I'm gonna play a couple more ads on the way out. But do you have thoughts of making a trailer for this since you got another 100 days? Get me something I can play on like I do everybody else's, right?
All right. What do you want? Well, send me a message of what you want. But
just like I do, I play these trailers for everybody for their campaigns. If you got something that's like a minute long that just talks about Patreon.
Okay, I'll have to make something then.
Yeah, do that.
Okay.
And I'll play it just like I do everybody else's.
Oh, thank you.
You know. Cool.
All right.
Good to see you, brother.
Bye-bye.
Peace. John's from John's Longbox, everybody. Just, go over there, subscribe to his channel on YouTube. Go back his book on Fund My Comic. This is what we do.
Yep.
It's what we do. Peace out, everybody. I'm out of here.
Glamorized and embraced by Hollywood, feared in the underworld, Benjamin Bugsy Siegel was one of the most powerful men in America. He was also one of the most hated. The man who gave birth to Las Vegas was gunned down in the luxurious home of his glamorous lover. Almost 80 years later, his murder remains unsolved. Who killed Bugsy?
And comics are your escape. Put a little madness in your How do you end this thing? How do you put the where's the brakes on this bus? I forgot.
Jazz
how to do it.
hands. Jazz hands.
Have a good night.